Written by Hiromu Arakawa and published by Inex and later Square Inex from 2001 through 2010 was FullMetal Alchemist. Now considered one of the most influential mangas ever written from Japan in the early 21st century, the story focused on Edward and Alphonse Elric, who live in a world where alchemy is not only practiced but an extraordinary aspect of everyday life. The pair ultimately desire to bring their mother back to life after she died through tragic circumstances depicted in the manga. Due to the consequences of using alchemy in such a way, the boys are maimed but are undaunted in the task to master alchemy to later use it to help those in need. In the 2003 Japanimation, Shou and Nina Tucker were very important, even pivotal to the entire series, as Shou Tucker, known as the life-sewing alchemist, had an entire arc that was represented in the anime as a flashback sequence, while Edward and Alphonse were preparing for the state alchemy exam. The pair later met and befriended Nina Tucker, who was an extraordinarily sweet and highly energetic girl. Shou was actually a somewhat well-known alchemist due to him successfully transmuting a chimera that could speak. As a result, senior officers in the alchemy field demanded more research, well, naturally results from Shou, but he wasn't able to completely replicate the initial success that he had done. Naturally, Shou became more and more stressed about that lack of progress put on him, and even senior officials in the military becoming angry with his lack of results. Edward and Alphonse eventually uncover evidence that Shou has later secretly resorted to unethical experiments to attempt to recreate his original success. Edward in particular is disgusted and revolted at this revelation and confronts Shou about it. Knowing that he can't do much else, Shou decides to transmute Nina and their pet dog Alexander into a chimera. Meanwhile, alchemic officers in the military find out about the entire incident with Shou and demand that Edward and Alphonse speak about it to no one, as even by army alchemic standards, it's highly disturbing. Through further details, Edward and Alphonse later learn that Shou was sentenced to be executed without a trial as a cover-up, but he wasn't actually executed but taken to a secret laboratory area to continue research. Edward is once again disturbed by this realization and later encounters Shou deep within the facility with Alphonse. But by this time, Shou himself was also transformed into a soul-like chimera creature with a soulless version of Nina. Edward is enraged at what Shou did to Nina and disgusted at what he had done to himself. Shou later created multiple copies of Nina, but none were like the original, and after consistent failures he became extraordinarily paranoid and mentally unstable. Shou even became depraved enough that he sought assistance from greed in an attempt to obtain protection and resources to help complete Nina's transmutation. Eventually though, he finally creates a perfect body for Nina, but Sloth proclaims that Tucker's will nor his experience with alchemy were strong enough to bind Nina's soul to the human transmutation body, which was physically perfect. Being told that though Nina's body was perfectly recreated, he could never bind nor return her soul back to the body, shattered any sense of hope or understanding that he had left. Shou Tucker was last depicted in this version of the Japanimation holding on to the Nina that was soulless and still trying to complete the soul connection through alchemy. This version of Shou and Nina were the exact same, except the divergence occurred when shortly after Shou Tucker received praise and attention from the speaking chimera transmutation. Instead of ignoring what Shou had done, Edward as well as Alphonse leave Shou on the transmutated Nina, later reporting what had occurred to Colonel Roy Mustang, who uses influence and rank to place the sewing life alchemist under arrest, and Nina is to be removed from his care for her to be taken into protective custody. Scar later appears where Shou is being confined to and later murders him for his crimes using alchemy. Scar then allows the Nina Chimera to mourn her father before he kills her too as an act of mercy. By popular opinion from casual and serious readers of the manga, and in particular the viewers of the Japanimations, consider Shou Tucker to be the most hated character. Even creator Hiromu Arakawa ended up hating his character of Shou Tucker as well due to everything that had occurred within the manga. The depravity of Shou Tucker was more than likely magnified through casual and serious viewers of the 2003 Japanimation, which had major divergences from the Shou Tucker depicted from the manga source material. Due to the series being developed partly when the original manga was being written, Shou Tucker naturally or unavoidably became a major presence in the series and was written in a nearly customized depiction. Conflicting sources harped that the 2003 version of the series, after Shou Tucker transmutated himself, he spoke in a whispered voice, as it gave off a disturbing impression. Conflicting sources harped that it was an improvisation from the English language dubbing of the Japanimation. In any version of the original manga, or the 2003, even the 2009 Japanimation adaptations, these versions of Shou Tucker on what had occurred with Nina Tucker deeply disturbed both Edward and Alphonse. In all instances, whenever Edward or Alphonse mentioned the most disturbing instance they had witnessed or had been a part of during their time as state alchemists, was undoubtedly the incident with Shou and Nina. Even when Edward confronted God, dialogue harder that Nina's transmutation into a chimera beast, and later having her life taken away, was the most heartless and cruel occurrence he'd probably had ever witnessed in his life. And with everything considered, even God mentioned that those like Shou Tucker would be judged with especially ruthless consequences. And Nina Tucker did not deserve the unimaginable pain and unbearable suffering that she had experienced.